Okay, let's just hope that this episode becomes very short. Hope I don't get harassed with too much noise and forget what I'm trying to say. So if you're someone that's interested in Islam, or you simply just know it's out there, just know that the whole purpose of my podcast, before God himself sends down the truth in a way that is, more divine and more powerful and more, obvious, is that he guided me to really basically expose or showcase the areas of this religion that are not even from him. One is the perversions, the sexisms. I say it plurally and not singular because there's a lot of obviously different types of perversions. Anything that's perverted, anything that's sexist is not from God. That's what the devil put into it. Some he put it into the Qur'an, some he put it into these man-made books. Okay, called Hadith. Okay, and then the book before the Qur'an was the Bible. Some is in it too. Basically, the good parts is the only thing from God, is my point, in these books and anything else. But there's this other part that basically is an addition or corruption, which is the extremist way. For example, the female. Yes, God wants us to be modest. Like just something like, let's say, your hair, just your neck and your chest. That's it. But it's a cloth. Not this heavy, big, weird, strange thing. Not burdening yourself. You know what I'm saying? Not extreme. Just a simple cloth, like if you see even my cover photos, the way I just cover myself. Like that. That's really all God wanted. Just basic, simple, nothing that would hurt or burden you. This stuff where females cover their face, which is called a niqab, that's actually from a culture. It's a cultural thing. That's not from Islam. And God never told you to cover their face. That's dumb. Basically, the way you know something's not from God is that it's either not moral means good, or it's not logical. It's just stupidity. God is not stupid. So for example, the niqab. Non-Muslims usually are in the UK, like they complain about how these females who are Muslim, who are extremely, basically the brainwashed ones, who live under the most extreme, Muslim males who really control them like a property, is those ones who tell them to cover like this. But they're smart. Their demons are smart. They never say that these evil, sexist, crazy Muslim males who follow the evil parts of Islam, they don't ever go on these news platforms in the UK or anywhere else where, humans who are more civilized and healthy now, like a lot of the Europeans who don't follow the craziness of their religions as well, right? Humans have evolved, obviously, to some degree in many parts of the world. Muslims are kind of the ones right now living the backwardness that this religion, when it was pure, came to get rid of, and the backwardness came back because the prophet died. It's that simple. When these prophets are gone, the devil brings back the nonsense. Okay, so these Muslim females, their husbands, their fathers, their brothers, these males who control them, they act like they can't do anything. They can't travel. They can't go out of their home. They need her husband's permission to go anywhere. Imagine asking a man for permission to go out and meet your mother. What the hell? That means you're his property. So no, that's not from Islam. All the evil stuff that's in the marriage part, like how they say she has to do this with the husband. Anything that is weird and strange, limiting, controlling. I'm trying to be plural because I can't go through all the examples. Where basically he's treated like an authority, like someone she has to worship or obey. That's actually from idol worship. Back in, first man-made religions that the devil brought up, like Hinduism and all that, Buddhist, all that nonsense, goddesses and gods. That's where it comes from. It's way back in ancient history. The way the devil always said the husband is a god and the female should worship him. It's actually from that nonsense. Way back in Adam and Eve, their sort of time when corruption and evil stuff started to happen. He just taking some of that stuff and bringing it into every civilization after them. So it's not, it's not something in Islam. You get me? It's just that evil thing that's always been in the human race that keeps coming back to always destroy the female when she's in a marriage and when she's before marriage in her own family. Basically when she's in a family, let's say she's not married, then they just use the males in that family to control her. She can't do anything. She needs their permission. Blah blah blah. Okay. They say many things. It's like a child. They act like she's some child that they can discipline, as if males are some adults and females are children. You get me? By nature or something. As if the male is somehow mature and wise and doesn't sin and is not a human, and she's not the human and she's something he needs to guide. They literally say things like, you need to guide your wife. You need to lead your wife. That nonsense is also in the Bible, okay? Anywhere where a woman is not being treated as an adult, anywhere she's not being treated as a human, anywhere where she's not being treated as someone that can take care of herself, but somehow this male has to lead her, that's from the devil. That's my point. Okay, so an example would be these Muslim males, they're scared of the Europeans who obviously don't practice this nonsense, who obviously are uncomfortable with these crazy females, how they keep wearing the niqab, which covers their face, only shows their eyes. They even cover their hands as if there's some shame. See, they don't realize where this stuff comes from. You know, they only know what they know. They don't know that this stuff happened in other past religions that were false. Cultures and all that filth it came from when the devil came up with this evil stuff and put it into the way that females should live in past human history. It was always, he was treating the female as a shame. Do you see what the covering is for? It's like shame, like you're shamed, so hide. Males are going to feel this way, so hide, as if there's some animal, as if they're not human, as if they cannot look at each other, interact, and have a handshake and just be normal. Muslims just advise that we don't touch each other, the opposite gender. You get me? Because just for decency. People are obviously married and have boyfriends and girlfriends. You don't want everyone just being too close to others. It's always about decency, whoever came up with these ideas. But God never said you can't shake hands and you can't touch each other. That's not logical. We're human beings. We have to touch at some point. There are situations you can't control. What God said not to do is not to have sex before marriage. That's it. So someone came up with the idea that anything outside of that, that's smaller than sex, right? Physical contact. They just said, let's also tell people not to do physical contact. Let's make it a sin. Let's say it's not good for them because, you know, those two people actually do like each other. This male and female actually do like each other. Well, they're constantly having handshakes and hugging, or at some point they'll get into a room. It's like that sort of, you get me? That's how they thought. You get me? That in order to prevent them from this sin, let's then prevent everything else that is smaller than it, like that. But God never said that, and God is not treating us like animals, and that's disgusting. What the hell are you accusing us of? Getting into a room with everything in this earth? It's only people who actually like each other that could do that sexual thing, correct? It's only they. But regular colleagues and humans who are creepy and old that you're not attracted to, a typical stranger in the street, what the hell? We're human. We can have a handshake. We can get along. So it's the humanity aspect that the devil is trying to take away from Islam. He's just trying to make males and females into this weird thing that can't look at each other, can't talk to each other, can't sit in the same room, can't do nothing. It's that disgusting backwardness. It's not from God, okay? That's something that other religions and human cultures always had to limit women. It's that simple. It's just in our religion too. And he wants you to think it's actually from this religion. No, it's in ancient history. Women always were told to live like this. Males were always told they're not human and this is who you are and you can't look at her. Oh, it's not, even though he's human and he knows. Again, it's only the evil males who are perverted who obviously do this and use it to control her. So part of the experiences God put me into really is God showing me how this is from the devil. Because I was put in situations where I was exposed to those things, and demons are always possessing the humans who do it. So any human, right, who's Muslim, for example, who actually believes in this stuff and acts this backward, acts this sexist, is actually possessed. And I don't want you, again, there's many reasons only God knows people get possessed, but the first reason is you're an evil person. Okay, you really get possessed because you're evil first. Truly innocent, beautiful people in their heart don't get possessed. So what I'm trying to say is they're like the evil type of possessed people. There's just decent people who get possessed due to some sins that may not necessarily be evil. But usually you get possessed because you're bad in your heart. You're not you know what I mean? You're not pure as a person in your heart. So Muslims are all possessed, except who knows 0 point something percent. Only God knows. I don't know. I don't even think they exist. But the crazy ones, who are the majority, sadly, and they also have different sections, just so you know. There's Shia, there's Sunni. Sunni is like the one that's like the typical Muslim. Shia is like the Iran, you know. Sufi is like these other ones who just act really weird. You know, Shia and Sufis, they sometimes believe in beating each other up. You know that, like, cult. You know, cults, they're like these religions that come up where they just beat each other, abuse each other. They're fake. Like that. It's in South Korea, for example. They have a lot of cult religions and they try to recruit people and brainwash them. So humans are really stupid, okay? They can easily be brainwashed joining cults and weird things, and be made to do horrible things to themselves. Some of them, for example, they tell them, oh, you're possessed by a demon, so we're going to punch you, so because then that's going to hit the demon. No, it's going to hit the human. They want you to think that that's how God created, you know, prayer to be, or basically the way to be to attack a demon. No, you attack demons by prayer. You get me? You don't hurt anybody, because see, that's evil, right? Why would we hurt a person? God is a merciful, loving God. So I told you, anything that's not logical and crazy and evil is not from him. So the correct parts of God's religion, scattered between Christianity and Islam, will tell you, just pray. You get me? Just in the name of God Almighty, I command you to get out of this body. You're talking to the demon like a person. You're commanding them to do what you want. Get out of this body, stop harassing this person, etc. And they have to obey, because you're using God's name. Not, they're not obeying you because you're not their creator. They're obeying God. That's what a God would tell you to do, correct? If he was truly your God. Not tell you to beat someone up because the demon's going to get hit. Hell no, they're going to get hit. You're hitting the person. So parts of that nonsense that cult religions, that are fake religions have, also entered Islam and Christianity. And they also beat the person, tap the person, you get me? It's just abuse. It's just physical violence the devil wants to do. And the demon in that body is laughing. He or she are just laughing because they made those people think. Again, those humans know they're evil and what they're doing is wrong. Obviously, what you're doing is obviously wrong. No one can make you think something evil is actually good. I'm just saying, when they're doing that abuse to each other, when this person succumbs to this dumbness, demons are actually enjoying this, because they just get to be in that body and just watch as you beat this person up. You're not hitting them. So this type of dumbness, okay, is really anything that, when I say corruption in Islam or corruption in God's religion, is anything that's not merciful, anything that's unjust, anything that's strange, anything that's controlling, anything that makes one group dominant over the other. So please don't look at, Muslim YouTube channels and watch the ones who act like they're married and they're sharing Hadith stories. I cannot stand it. Don't go to their channels. Don't go on social media and follow their, accounts or whatever. They'll brainwash you, make you sick. I get sick from seeing it because of how much sensitive I am to demonic spirits. I can see the evil and the witchcraft and how possessed those humans are. A typical person can't see that. They're just going to see this stuff is backward. So I actually get sick from it because I have the power to see demons in people. So part of the ways God is showing me the areas that demons are controlling his creation and religion is, obviously, he exposed me to see these types of Muslims all my life. The most decent females, right, who are Muslim, don't do this. They don't cover their face. They're not crazy. They don't cover their hands. But they slowly really do try to make that seem fashionable or cool and try to push you into it. I mean, no. Decent women are just going to dress normally. They're just going to put on their hijab like the one I wear. Well, I'm just covering my hair, and basically my cloth would obviously go over my chest. Just that sort of, I don't want you to see my shirt or anything like that. But that's it. And God put me in situations where he, obviously in the past made me poor and lose everything. Since I'm a woman, he wanted to show me what level of modesty he created and the extremist version of it that the devil came up with. God put me in situations where no one would help me get food or clothes or anything, because everyone was possessed to harass me. So for that reason, I had to learn. There's a possessed person just standing right now. They was watching and listening. They're creepy. The demon's not the human. The human doesn't know anything. So basically, God would then push me to create my own clothing. I would take a t-shirt and take it apart and put, style it into clothing. And then I would question him, like, what's going on? Why don't you give me real nice clothes to wear? Like, he's trying to show me he's not extreme when it comes to how we dress. He's not crazy, so just literally, you wear pants, you wear a skirt. It doesn't have to go all the way to your ankle, the skirt. It can be past the knee at least. And then whatever you want, you wear on your top. That's your choice. But at least just that small cloth, that hijab is fine. There's a lot of Muslims that in the past would be like, just wear the khamar, which is like the shorter version of the hijab. Just covers the hair only, a little bit of the neck. And I remember some Muslim females who are brainwashed into thinking maybe that's not modest enough. The devil gets into your head sometimes, makes something normal seem bad to you because you're mixed with this group and you're not around other humans who show you it's okay. So that unhealthiness comes out, and then those females will be like, oh, she needs a longer cloth. She needs this, she needs that. You don't, and that's why when I cover right now, like the photos that I have, you're going to see that it's not very long because that's what God has showed me. I don't need to, wear something so long. And what the hell am I, ashamed? You know, I just need to make sure you don't see my chest. It's that simple. And my hair, my neck is, I can wear just a nice, right, scarf-like thing, and that's it. Do you see what I'm saying? He's just a simple God, but the extreme versions of that would be from the devil than anything beyond that. So God would put me in situations in order to teach me what parts of his religion is corrupted by putting me in situations where he's in control. Demons are persecuting me. They're possessing anyone they can find who's really evil and creepy and strange. And I'm put in situations where they're the majority in the U.S. I keep being pushed to bad places. And in the situations that God is putting me in, he's showing me what a woman should dress like, what her rights are. He made me travel, obviously, all these years. He's saying, I don't care if you travel. I created you to travel, just like the man. Go scan the earth and enjoy the beauty I've created. That's what he's saying. So all this disgusting sexism is from the devil. So I obviously know that. It's just that he's put me in situations where he's revealing that to me. So when I share my testimony, I haven't done that yet. It's very long. It's like almost 30 years of my life. Muslims are going to have to sit down and have a nice, long discomfort. And a lot of them are going to scream and shout when they realize they're not going to control this gender anymore. They're not going to destroy my gender anymore. They're not going to restrict them in how they dress and make them dress like a ghost or something. So creepy. And so, yeah, the Muslim males, right, these evil weirdos, they're obviously scared of non-Muslims who are obviously healthy and trying to help these Muslim females. So they never personally go on these news like the UK. They interview them a lot because they're having so many problems with the niqab. They're like, ban this thing. They should ban it, okay? That's not normal. You're not supposed to cover your face. How are people supposed to identify you? That's not fair to other people. So they want to act like these parts of the religion that is not even from the religion, at least this one, is actually from cultures, from Arabs. They want to act like they could enforce that on non-Muslims. They want to act like they respect their religion, they respect their country or government, but then they want to bring out the evil parts of them that's only from their demons, because demons want to obviously make Muslims and non-Muslims kill each other, obviously. So they're going to make the Muslims who are evil and extreme and crazy and who don't want to be human, even in areas where the religion doesn't restrict them, they're going to restrict themselves. You get me? They're going to do that to themselves and wear this niqab when no one is telling them it's part of the, it's a requirement. It's an option, you get me? But so they're going to make the non-Muslims hate them, because that's the devil, get it? Those females are possessed. The devil is using them to create this hatred, obviously, from humans who are civilized and cannot stand this nonsense. I can't stand it, and I'm Muslim. I can't stand it. She looks crazy to me. Stop covering yourself like that. What? You're human, you get me? So there's always Muslims who hate this stuff, okay? And they're the ones who just get away from Muslims and usually live in non-Muslim countries. Some of them don't even wear the hijab. It's between her and God, okay? It's not something you can force on a Muslim. This is a free will. There's no compulsion in this religion. But the parts that these man-made books are writing down and these evil hypocrite preachers are using, you know, that's not even from the Qur'an. They're going to force that on Muslim women. But just literally go back 100 years ago, they didn't dress like this. They were fine. They went to school and had fun, and you get me? People didn't practice the bad parts of this religion. But now the devil is using outsiders and insiders to make them practice the bad parts, so that then he can actually really make you see this, and you obviously get away from God's true religion. Because people don't want to separate the bad stuff from it that doesn't belong to him. You get me? They're going to push that in your face. So please don't think that that's from God, okay? This is from the devil, obviously. And parts of this is the corruption. Some Muslims acknowledge these things are optional and these females are doing that to themselves. Some acknowledge this is cultural, and some humans, whoever. You know, people have different knowledge about it. I'm the only one who has the knowledge that it's corruption, 100%. Just a good person who doesn't necessarily know that would just know that it's evil and it cannot be from God. A lot of Muslim preachers, I would say a little bit earlier than 2024. Right now, there's not that so much. There's just a lot of evil humans now. They've always tried to give women as much rights as they could. But those evil males, the ones who are promoting the sexism, they would attack them. They would attack them using the scripture and these man-made books. They're going to attack you. They're going to come after you. So even if there are Muslim preachers, which are called sheikhs, who, right, want to be balanced, want to make things better, want to separate religion from the government, which is actually what God taught me is the solution to Islam. They need to separate their religion from their country so that no one is forced, no one is punished based on how they practice and what they do and how they worship God, because that's between them and God. Why should someone beat you up because you committed a sin? What the hell? That's a sin. See, it's about you. It's about you and God. You didn't commit a sin against the human. It's God, right? Humans should only be punished for bad things they do to others, like a crime. You agree? Just whatever in other countries that are non-Muslim, they already punish each other for. You kill someone, you beat someone, you steal from. That's what we should punish each other for. But not you wearing a hijab or not. That's your choice. What the hell? It's like reciting scripture or not. It's just a worship thing. So it's so scary because it's almost time to get. It's almost time for this gender to get help. So for that reason, the devil is just making it worse and worse and worse for them, because it has to explode. All the wickedness has to be practiced for people to really be like, I'm sick and tired. A lot of Muslims are getting tired of their religion. A lot of them are leaving the religion, just so you know, because they're the ones who don't really know God is God. You know, they just were raised into the religion. So if you separate them, right, you give them a breathing space, they'll leave it. You know, but I'm someone that knows God is actually Allah. You know, I'm actually someone that knows I have a deeper connection with him. So I just know what the solution is. It's not to leave God. It's not to think he's a fake one. It's to see that the bad stuff in it that would make you think he's fake is actually from the devil. You get me? And no, I didn't make that assumption. He revealed that to me, and I will prove that soon. So please, as a non-Muslim, don't, you know, get too close to Muslims who are the most extreme ones, you know? They're going to corrupt your mind from seeing the good parts of the religion, that many of the things they do is not even a force. You get, no one's telling them to do it. It's a choice, and they're extreme. Such as these females who cover themselves extremely. They only wear the color black. I remember the malls, for example. I grew up in Minnesota. The malls have a lot of beautiful clothes. They have a lot of beautiful hijabs. They have a lot of beautiful fabric. The elderly females, right, the ones you would think are very sexist and crazy and backward, some of them are healthy, and they would tell the young females, oh, put this on, you're gonna look pretty in this. And she doesn't want it. She just wants this big covering, covers her hand, her face, her back, everything. She just looks like a ghost. So it's the devil doing this to them. They're all possessed. He has to make them pick the extreme dumb way when people who are their same religion are telling them, no, this is decent, this is simple, stop burdening yourself. You're also gonna die from the heat. What's your problem? It doesn't matter. So even we Muslims cannot change their mind. So you non-Muslims, you're wasting your time. This is something that when God's leaders come down and they shut down the lies in this religion, that's when these females will listen. But they're not going to listen to you. A lot of them are being controlled by their husbands using violence. They're just not going to tell you. He's threatening her. He's beating her, which is also the other corruptions of the religion. Just typical evil male, domestic violence, evil, weird lunatic that should be, you know, dying, getting the death penalty if he kills anyone, or, you know, prison time if he's beating her. Who's going to tell you? It's like a cult. Get it? The bad parts of Islam is a cult. Whoever practices it is actually in a cult. They never leave their families. They're always connected. They're not like adults who move out and get married normally. They literally always connected. And then if she gets married or a male gets married, that's the only time they live somewhere else. You know, they don't enjoy their youth. Like when they're in college, they don't have their own apartment. They all have to live together. So it's that backwardness. There's no independence, individuality. There's no personality. When I was around Muslim females, I couldn't figure out what their personality is. You know how, for example, the Myers-Briggs, I'm INTJ. I don't know what the hell these females, their personality is, because they're all the same, because they're in a cult. They're always following the bad parts of their religion, and the other parts, obviously, that's forced on them, obviously, but they're human. They have a choice to say, I'm not doing this filth. A lot of Muslim females, when the male wants to use the evil part of the religion that says he can have 4 females to himself, I'm not calling it a wife, that's prostitution, all that filth, is slavery and rape. Basically, they're just consenting to it. Basically, right, a lot of the females the first one he always married, right, his actual wife, they always exit. They always divorce him if he says, I'm bringing this filth to her. She gets out, okay? So that's one way that God is actually protecting them. You get me? Even though they're evil, they're not good females, obviously, because they believe this is from, they act like this is normal, you get me? They don't think it's evil and perverted and nasty and rape, and they don't see it like that. I mean, you can think God said that because you don't know who God is. But if you're a good person, you're going to hate it. Okay, they don't really hate it like that. They're just coming from another place of, they just don't want to be a part of that mess type of thing, rather than morality, like, ew, how dare you, you know? So they're not coming from a moral place. They're just coming from a place they don't want to deal with that. Anyways, so they just exit. That's actually God protecting them from sin, because those females, if they allow a male to bring other females into their marriage, obviously that's adultery, that's cheating. You get me? It's one of the biggest sins you can do, cheating on your spouse. Can you believe, just by using the word wife for those females he's cheating with, they made it seem like it's okay or permissible. So the devil changes terminology, right? It's cheating, but he's simply, instead of, right, adulteress, instead of mistress, instead of, right, a cheating partner, he just changed the name to wife, as if a wife is a multiple thing. A wife is singular. Just like the Bible says, one man, one woman. That's the part of the Bible that's not corrupted. So the things that usually the Qur'an is corrupted and the Bible is not corrupted. The parts that the Bible is corrupted, such as God's identity, the Qur'an fixes it. He's God. He's just one. You don't have to call him Allah, obviously. If you don't feel comfortable, right, you can just call him God. You know, God is also his name. Lord is also his name. Don't be too burdened to call him Allah if you want to convert or something. You get me? Because it seems like a different character and not God. You get me? So don't burden yourself. Just call him God. He's still out there. It's him. Just that's his name. You know what I mean? So please don't follow their content online. Don't listen to them talk about marriage and how to be a good spouse, because they're literally the most nastiest, perverted humans on the face of the earth. They follow all types of perversions and sexisms except incest and homosexuality. They follow the rest, even going after children. What the hell are you seeking their advice for in marriage? Are you crazy? So please don't do it. This is the most harmful, demonic, dangerous, filthiest religion right now on the face of the earth. It's going to be destroyed by God Almighty. You just wait. Probably it won't even be 2025, you know, or 2026. God is going to do something very soon. Because I'm sick and tired and their time is up. Muslims in past have always done what you expect them to do if they were good people. They spoke about it. They said this is not from God. They've done their part. But when they die, same thing happens. No one is going to spread that message to you. The evil ones will always spread their own thoughts and feelings, and you're going to think everyone thinks like this. You're going to think no rational person ever came out of this group. They did. They live in Muslim countries. Do you know what they do to them? They kill them. Any Muslim that goes against the religion, the evil parts, they believe you should kill them. They're a hypocrite. That's why good Muslims are not coming out. They're scared of being killed. You think that's God's religion? You can't express your opinion? And you're actually going against something evil, which is what God taught us to do? Right? It's insanity. They believe you should be killed. So they're going against what God told them, that there's no compulsion in Islam. You will not force anyone into his religion. Killing someone because they don't want to follow something is you forcing them. You can only punish people, keyword punish. So there's a diverse way of punishing for the crime they do to others. These evil, filthy Muslim males, as I was saying, they're not going to go on the non-Muslim channels and news, and they're not going to talk about how this is good for females, the way they force them to dress, because some of them don't want to do it. The male is forcing her. That's his job, basically. The devil gave him that job. You just act dominant over her. You just control her. You scare the hell out of her. You use violence to shut her up, because obviously they're weak females. They're not going to fight back. They're weak as hell. So the strong ones obviously don't put themselves through this nonsense. Okay? I don't know where they are, but decent humans, I don't know where they are. But I would not say a strong female is in this religion, really. The ones who you would say are almost strong, well, they just become non-Muslim, or they don't practice the weird stuff, you know? They actually just, sometimes they get into, like, entertainment industry, you know, they become actresses or whatever. They get corrupted into another thing that's sinful. So that's one thing I've noticed about human beings. When God's religion is corrupted, they do the right thing. They're mad, they're angry, they don't follow it. Good job. They did what God wanted them to do in the face of threats, right? Because these humans are trying to force it on you, saying it's from God. Anyone that's trying to force you into anything is not from God, just so you know. Just as you would not think that way yourself, right? God is not a dictator. He doesn't force, he doesn't threaten. Any qualities of an abusive person, if a religion has it, that part is either corruption or the whole religion is false, okay? So, therefore, it's never from God, because God is, he's a good God. See the word good, you get me? He's just good, that's it. So, what was I talking about? So basically, yeah, humans, sadly, the devil gets them. When they see a filthy religion like this, they go into a disbelief. They go into a false religion. They just go to Christianity or some other religion. So they fail the test. You get me? I mean, right now, if some get into Christianity, as long as, goodness, I don't want to talk about that. Anyways, instead of just believing in their one God, right? They already know God is one. But instead of maintaining their faith and just simply saying to themselves, this evil stuff, right? This filthy stuff is the problem. Going into research, looking down history, where they're going to actually see the Qur'an is not the original, one that, you know, those men had, the companions after the Prophet, that people believe they were companions after him, who ruled, you know, sort of the places the Prophet lived in. They're going to realize those people are not there promoting these books. There were many different versions of the Qur'an that were burned down. There you go, bingo, you know, therefore, right? There's something wrong. Okay, so guess what these religious preachers who are the bad ones say? Because there's good ones. What do the bad ones say? They say that doesn't matter. They just deleted a certain type of recitation, which they call like a dialect. No one deleted any recitation. Those were false Qur'ans that were written down. So Islam grew for a reason. It didn't have this evil in it, is my point. But even at the time where the best leaders of Islam were here, very moral, good people, men who honored women's rights, you know, they didn't live passively. They honored their rights. They get a sword and kill you if you try to harm a female. They were so aggressive in honoring people, not just female. So very good people, okay? Even when they were living, the devil created false Qur'ans. You see, he's not scared of nobody, okay? It's only the Prophet. When the Prophet dies, then he's not scared to corrupt it, what he wants. You get me? So just understand, this is why, this is proof that these books are not original, because God keeps sending down prophets, messengers, new scriptures. He keeps doing that because it means the book is not being maintained. You can't maintain it. There's bad people who were sinning before the book was already there, right? Before the prophet came. There were bad people who were oppressing women and other groups, like the poor. The king used to say that he's actually God, just so you know. Today, your president you think is mean for things that past humans would appreciate this type of president. Those ones, the presidents of the past time, which were kings, would actually tell you they're God. They will use a sorcerer, someone who uses magic, which means they work with demons, to kill whoever goes against them. So murder was actually used to silence you standing up for your human rights. That's what persecution meant at that time. And then there's another type of persecution where you don't have the power to kill someone, like demons. They can persecute me. They can't touch me or kill me or anything, but they can harass me and bother me all the time and put me in bad situations, like they want to put me in jail and stuff before anyone even knows who I am. So my point is, right, if you study history, if you study what happened to the past Qur'an, please do that. Study what's going on, basically. You're going to realize it's very obvious to any Muslim who wants good. They would figure it out. There's something wrong with their religion. And they don't have to be scared that God is like that. It's just they don't want to. I told you they're mostly evil. And they're just going to fight you, attack you. And the decent Muslims who are very polite with their words, but they're just pointing out the weird parts, they always threatened. They're always called a hypocrite, which is not a good word. Because the moment they call you a hypocrite, they're basically saying it's okay to kill you. We just live in non-Muslim countries. They can't kill nobody. So that's why you think Muslims are good people in that sense. The ones, right, who practice the false teachings of the religion. I obviously don't practice the false teachings. What the hell? There's evil in it. So the bad ones, right, who actually say that everything should be followed, if they actually had a country, they were in charge, Every day, innocent people will be murdered for simply saying, I don't like this part of the religion. They'd murder you. If you say you're going to go to another religion, they'd murder you. God does not give you the right to kill people. For not worshiping him, end of discussion. For disagreeing with something, end of discussion. The worship is between them and him, not between you and them. You don't create and own them. You're their own species, therefore you're equal to them. You're not dominant or superior. So humans who like to preach evil and use God as a weapon and don't want to admit that books can get corrupted and force it on people using threats, intimidation, hell, or anything, are humans who are obviously not only possessed, but they possess the quality that evil human beings in past history had, who are like rulers of a country, who obviously don't deserve to be rulers. They're not smart, wonderful people. They obviously, right, used evil to get their way, like manipulation or cheating to win the votes. So they're obviously doing what? They have the quality of acting dominant, right? Dominance belongs to who? It belongs to God Almighty. Sick and tired is airline. I hope you can hear me. Dominance means God Almighty. We are a species. We are not superior than each other. We cannot dominate each other. So that's why when humans have the quality of doing any evil to you, verbal, physical, emotional, physiological, just observe humans who act like that. Observe any human who hurts or harasses others. They're acting like they're dominant over that person. If you question them, they're not going to say what they did was wrong. They're going to act like that person should have obeyed them, should have done ABC. They're always going to act like somehow they're superior and you're supposed to obey them. Okay? So since we're equal and you cannot obey each other, what they want you to obey is not even for the sake of argument. It's not something good, but they're just trying to force it on you. No, it's always something bad, and also they're trying to force it on you. Goodness, good and evil don't mix, okay? I just wanted to clarify that for you because, that could come to your mind. So they're trying to get you to do something bad, but they're also trying to force it on you because you're not going to do it yourself. Oh, this airline. Since it's evil, since it's objectification, since it's controlling, you, the human, are not at your free will. You're not going to choose to do it. Okay, so that's why they try to force it on you. That's why they're so violent. That's why they're threatening you, because it's not good. You're never going to choose to do it if they spoke to you in a calm way. So they're going to therefore use violent manners, whether it's verbal or physical, to try to force it on you. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like a criminal. They want to steal from you, but if they ask you, can I have your bag? You're obviously going to say no. So they get a knife and tell people to give the bag or they'll kill you like that. So this religion, or God's religion, right, ever since Adam and Eve, obviously you would think, right, if there's an enemy out there, which is the devil, that obviously it would have corruption. It would have problems. It would have, war happening because evil humans want to enforce their views and the righteous people of God are trying to stop them. Good people never had a choice but to sometimes be pushed to war for that reason, to defend themselves, to protect God's books, You get me? Because, okay, that stuff is still happening is what I'm saying. So don't let this religion make you think the way it is right now. It's just a couple of sexist and perverted, filthy things like 4 wives or whatever, or going after children and accusing a prophet of that perversion. No. Real Muslims, right? The bad ones are a threat to us. The bad ones are actually saying people should be killed if they don't believe in this stuff. Is that? So I don't want you to actually think if you lived in a Muslim country, you'd be safe as a non-Muslim, or if you converted right now. Understand this is God's religion. And that actually should prove to you that it's God's religion, because that's why there's so much resistance against you worshiping him and only following the moral parts of his teachings, because the devil wants you to leave God. So he's going to put evil into it. And instead of, leaving you alone when you stand up against it, he's going to put parts into it that says, well, you should be killed if you disagree, because he wants you to use that quality, the evil ones are saying, to then obviously, make you leave the religion. So it's a way to get you to disbelieve by putting evil into it and then using that evil to threaten you with murder. To threaten you with killing you if you don't follow it. What the hell? You're a good person. You're not going to do bad things. So for that reason, they think then they'll kill you or something. So Muslims are not, admitting to it. They're not admitting how dangerous these Muslim preachers are and the Muslims who follow them, the bad parts of the religion. Where in non-Muslim countries, we're not seeing how dangerous it is. We see them usually in the mosque and they pretend to be nice people. Okay, but the moment you disagree with something, I'm not even saying you saying it's corruption. You don't even have to say that. You're just simply questioning it. Hey, this text said the prophet, etc., etc. But wait a minute. We heard like that. You're just simply thinking and asking a question. Instantly, they'll call you a disbeliever. Okay, is that what good people do? What do good people do? They do what I'm doing on this podcast. I try to give you wisdom. I just try to talk to you. But do I force it on you? That's your choice. Okay, so evil humans cannot allow you to think. They don't believe in you having the qualities God gave you, which is to think, disagree, and do what you want to do with your life. God will deal with you. Correct? They have to act like your God. Get it? That's their problem. They're trying to act like your God. They're trying to act like they can beat you up and kill you and punish you for things that they don't have the right. Okay? So that's how you know they're not the good ones. Because that quality of being that extreme does not belong to good people. It's that simple. So don't run to false religions. Don't become a complete atheist. You get me? Take the good and leave the bad instead. That's what you're supposed to do when you see this is God's religion, or you think it's God's religion, or you love something, even if it's not religion, but then you see evil. Take the good, leave the bad. Don't get away from the whole thing. That's dumb. You're doing what the devil wanted. He put something bad in it so you would give up. Let's say you're trying to enter the store, you're trying to buy food. Good, right? Okay, but then there's this evil bodyguard in front of it, just harassing everybody. If you leave, you just failed. You gave him power, right? He pushed you away from buying food that day. Now you're starving. Don't give them power. Take the good, leave the bad. Okay, so you would handle that situation properly. You would not let him bother you, intimidate you. You just be very calm, very assertive. You stand up for your rights. Okay, now you get in. You report him later. You know what I'm saying? You don't create a scene now where he could kick you out and accuse you. Like that, you're smart. You're focused on getting your food, right? Like that. Focus on what you need. You need God Almighty. Islam is the correct religion of God. So if God has guided you to it, I cannot guide you to it. I cannot do anything. No matter how much I talk, I cannot convince you it's God's religion, just so you know. That's what I'm saying. This is how you know someone is from God. I'm not trying to force you into anything. I can't even do it. I can't prove it in that sense. I can only give you a lot of knowledge that is proof. But I can't make you see that. You get me? That's within your knowledge, your conscience, and that is called guidance. And that comes from God himself. So if he has guided you to it, he's pushing your heart to it. You know it's not from thoughts or the devil. You know God is calling you to it. Okay, enter. Worship your creator. The extreme parts are not from him. Anything evil and filthy and weird and controlling and strange is not from him. I know that's a complex thing. You're not going to know everything that falls under that. But leave the bad, take the good. Just worship your creator. This whole 5 daily prayers thing is not even in the Qur'an. Muslim preachers don't know if this is actually what the Prophet used to do. The Hadith books wrote it. They think therefore Muslims should just, that's what I'm saying. Almost everything we do in the religion, except who God is, right? He is one. The things we usually do to worship him is actually, there's no proof. Because God speaks in a general way. The Qur'an speaks in a general way. It just says like pray. Okay, it doesn't tell you, the way that Muslims pray, going up and down. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of these things that are not bad, right? It's not bad to pray this way. We don't know if it's from God or the devil made it up. But since we don't know and it's not bad, well, then you can just do it. You might as well not lose your chance to pray, right? The correct way. Just do it. If you convert, for example. Okay, but then there are things you're supposed to leave when you don't know. Like there's doubt. Because it's not even good for you. Just leave it. But research and ask God to guide you. And then 3, don't worry about it. You're going to actually, in your lifetime, see God sending down the truth. It's very soon. So for that reason, you're actually much better off than humans in a little bit earlier in history who didn't have such a chance, because we were all after them, obviously. But I'm just going to warn you about Muslims, okay? Don't mix with them if you really want to protect your faith in God. You can go to the mosque. Why not? Just go if you want to pray. Right? Obviously, they're not going to do much in that place. They're just going to pray and stuff. Okay, but don't listen to their Hadith books. Don't listen to something they call halaqah, which is like lectures about books that humans wrote. because there's a lot of falsehood in it. Don't overwhelm yourself with Islamic channels, because there's a lot of weird, extremist, backward, sexist, perverted nonsense in it. You know, they act like they didn't develop. They act like they didn't develop like the rest of the human race. They're backward. You know, the Muslims who developed math and science and architecture, and the Muslim women who in past history were actually the ones to build universities. We should tell you that they're not the same females of this time, right? They cannot be following the same religion. If those women were building universities, what the hell? You're gonna build a university talking about something that oppresses you? No, they were free. Today they believe she should just stay home and do nothing. I told you, this is how you know it's not specific to Islam. This is how you know it's just evil, okay? Because it's just sexism. If someone asks you what's sexism, whatever humans used to say that's bad about females, the male obviously, usually, whatever he would say that's, you know, sexist, and sexist means oppressing and limiting and controlling, whatever he would say to hurt and limit her, if you just grab that, you write it in bullet points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all that's in Islam. Okay, so it's not something new. It's not some other new stuff that's sort of different to the rest of the human race. It's just the typical old usual sexism. And that's it. Whatever humans in history that was bad, that they used to practice, such as male cheating on his wife, going to other females, but calling it marriage, right? See, he's trying to use the word marriage to protect himself because he's cheating. He thinks by using that word, boom, she's actually like the first wife or something like that. It's disgusting. You're going to her, you're being sexual with her, then you're going to go to this one? That's disgusting. That means your private parts are touching multiple females within the same time span. That's disgusting. God would never tell you to do that. Only when you leave one partner, like you divorce, you guys are not sexual anymore, you're done, then he would allow you to go touch some weirdo over there like yourself. This is nonsense, okay? God created sexuality, but he didn't create perversion and disgusting, filthy things to be normal. That's the evil part of it, get it? That's the opposite. Just like lying is the opposite of truth, perversion is the opposite of sexuality. So it's not sexual, it's just perversion, it's abnormality. It's trying to kill sexuality, it's trying to dishonor the body. These Muslim females, therefore, are being brainwashed. It's like a cult, okay? The ones who you would say are good females, they don't practice this stuff, okay? Some don't get married, some... They obviously just find a good Muslim man who doesn't want to... You get me? I don't know how they do it, but it's very rare for them to find a good, normal Muslim male. But some they just find other males from other races, other ethnicities that usually are not the typical Muslim, like Arabs and African. Okay, and then those ones don't want to, obviously fall into perversion and filth. They don't like it. Not like that. They just find a good person who's male to just marry. It's that simple. They do what you think they're doing. They're similar, they follow. But that's very rare. I don't even think they exist. I just know ones who believe in this filth. They're perverted as hell too. She's a pervert too, obviously. If she's okay with a male coming to her and going to other females at the same time, that's disgusting. That's rape. I'm saying they just find males who just don't want to do that. Okay? He just stays with her. So that's the only reason they're getting married. Don't let them trick you. The moment he says he's going to do something else, he's going to grab some female who's weak and dumb, she exits, okay? And because these preachers are angry, these evil, perverted, demonic males are angry, right? And to the devil, these females at least are not going to get punished too much in hell, right? Because they didn't agree to be in that weird cult with 4 females with this one male. Because she's obviously going to be punished by God more because she's practicing perversion. She's committing adultery. You're not going to be like, well, that's God's fault. How could he punish her? No. It's just like if God's book told you to kill innocent people. Are you going to say if they actually did it, God is not going to punish them? That's what I'm saying. Stop accusing God of being bad if he punishes Muslims for things like perversion, if they practice it and they say they thought it was from him. No. It's evil. What the hell is your problem? We're human beings. We're not trees. Only evil Muslims do it. Only perverted females do it. If you're a healthy female, that to you is nasty and disgusting and harmful. What the hell are you thinking? So they divorce, okay? That's what they do. So the evil weirdos, right, who are preachers, who want to force her into this because they're perverts, they're only being controlled by non-Muslim countries, they're scared of these countries. Guess what they do? Then they act like they're God. They take the bad parts of human history, all the sexism about divorce. So it has nothing to do with Islam, okay? It was already in human history, just all human beings in past human history from every race and ethnicity. The evil ones always practiced it, okay? It just entered every culture. That stuff, right, that entered parts of Islam, like when it comes to divorce, the fact that they say she cannot choose to divorce, the husband has to give permission as if he's God. It's so dumb, right? You were trying to leave this person because they're bad. Why would they say okay? So dumb, right? Either way, they say he can leave it. See, they're treating him like a human, right? You don't want to be in a relationship. Aren't you human? Are you an object? You leave. It's your body. You chose to be in a relationship with them. Did anyone force you? No. Basically, you gave them permission to touch you and to be in a situation with you, correct? Relationship, whatever. Okay, so it's you who then would choose the same thing again, the opposite direction, to leave them. So they act like he has that human nature. They act like that's his humanity, but they act like she's not human and she's not allowed to do it. So basically, they're saying she's not human. Which, think about it. If they say she cannot divorce, what are they saying? That's rape now, right? If he ever tries to continue to be with someone who doesn't want him, he's raping the person. He's attacking the person. He's harming the. That's not marriage. What the hell are you talking about? So that's how you know it's not from God. What God would do that to you? Just flip it the other way. As a male, you're probably confused. You're human, correct? Okay. Just put yourself in that situation. Visualize God being accused. Visualize someone telling you that God said, you the male, when you get married to a female, she can leave the marriage if she doesn't want you, but you cannot leave. And she can touch you if she wants to. What are you going to think? That's rape? That's abuse? That's filth? That's perversion? Objectification? Slavery? Okay. And whoever said that to you is not God. That's it. So just put yourself in the position of the female. If whatever she's being told, you were told to do it as a male. You're gonna see sort of the better, the better feeling of seeing how evil it is, rather than just using a human conscience as just a human, right? You're male, you're human, and just being like, oh, you're right, that is sexist. No, don't be too slow like that. Okay, actually act like you were told to do what she's being told to do. Then you're gonna see how. Only evil could do that to you. Only evil human could do that to you. Only evil human could try to control you like that. Only evil human thinks she's your God. Only evil human wrote down the fact that God said that you're going to see living beings, not a creator, but creation that's evil wrote this nonsense down. Because you get me, you're putting yourself in the experience. You're visualizing it happening to you. That's how humans can have a better image in their mind that this is not from God. Don't just listen to my podcast and be like, you're right, you're very smart, intelligent, you're telling me morality, duh, we're human, we know that's wrong. Don't be just too general, okay? I want you to really, really believe that this is not from God by putting yourself in a situation where you try to actually visualize that happening to you, okay? Imagine one female, 4 males. Hell no, that's disgusting. You're all like objects to her. That's disgusting. No one is a human here. You're like prostitutes that she sold or something. Don't do this to God, okay? Only evil Muslims do this. Only evil Muslims believe in this. The others could just think God is this way, right? Who are good people. They just might think God is evil, and that's it. They're either never going to go to these situations, right? They're not going to get married, for example. They're going to get away from Muslims like I do. That's what they're going to do. But they're not going to actually act like this is okay unless they're actually evil. So don't accuse good people, please, regardless of their religion, of doing something or being okay with something if they actually think God said it. No, we're not evil. I don't care what God says. Evil is evil. Unless you're evil, you can't do it. You're just going to prepare yourself for hell if you actually think God is like that. That's what I'm saying. We're just going to be like, throw me in hell. I'm ready. That's what righteous people do. And God is proud of you because you passed the test. Okay? Your morality is strong, obviously. So please don't mix with the online content that Muslims make. They might have social media accounts where they post, Qur'an verses, and it's always going to be negative. It's always going to talk about hell and dying. And it's so depressing because the religion is so corrupted. It's probably a few percentage that's intact. The Qur'an, all it talks about is hell, disbelievers, hypocrites. God is not crazy. This book is so big. Why would he talk about this stuff over and over and over again? And God is a merciful God. He wants people to not only learn things from him, But he wants to teach you who your real enemies are, which is the devil and demons. He wants to teach you how to fight, teach you how to pray, teach you how to be moral, right? There's a lot of subjects. Like if you were writing a book, the different chapters would have different subjects because you're trying to teach a lot of things. God is wiser than you and created all knowledge. Just look at the mountains, look at the earth, look at the places that humans didn't build like these buildings, but more like nature. Just observe and see how powerful whoever created that has to be. He's not evil and he's not stupid. You cannot mix intelligence with evil. You can just be smart and be evil. I separated that in episode 100 of my healing guides. Intelligence implies morality. It implies integrity. Okay? God is powerful. He's not. So you see what I'm saying? When they confuse you about who God is, you're not the first generation. The first human beings till now had the same problem. A king would look at them and say, I'm your God. Today you think that's easy for you. You think, no, hell no, am I going to fall into such a trap? Let me go back to that time. Let me live in that time. Okay, but if you saw the way humans used to live, the way they were really scared, the way they really, right, fell into the same weak qualities that Muslims today have, right? They're very weak people. They're very backward. They're dumb as hell. That's what I'm saying. You're always going to think the generation or the people before you that you're better, that you could never fall into what they fell into, right? That they didn't have anxiety or no. It's always going to be the same. But because you learned from that, right? You now are in a civilized future time. Okay, to you, that's dumb. A president saying, I'm God. Whoever disobeys me will be killed. This is the book of God. He said, like that. It's nonsense. Okay, it's nonsense. That to you is easy. You'd know, believe that you should allow yourself to fall into that. You know you're a weak person. That's not something God created in you, right? If God created a normal fear, right? You see a bear trying to eat you, that doesn't mean you're weak or bad or evil if you get scared. I'm talking about you giving power to your own creation or anything God created, the power, dominance. And you being submissive to them, being scared of them, stand up for yourself when they're telling you to do something bad. Or when they're just trying to control you, okay? Just trying to act dominant over you. You know only bad people do that, right? A good person can't do that because it doesn't matter how brave they are, okay? They can be scared of violence. It's just that they don't like evil, so they're still going to say something. They're still going to say no to what you're telling them to do because it's not about death. It's not about whether they're scared of dying or not, okay? That's what we mean by strong. I don't mean strong person. No, I mean morality. They can't do what you're telling them to do. You try to act dominant over them. Hey, little girl, come over here. I dare you to say that to me again. That's what you're going to say. Pull your eyes out if you say that to me again. Get the hell out of my face. That's how the woman is going to talk. It doesn't matter how bulky this man is. It doesn't matter if he has a gun. It's not about, physical look. It's not about whether he has weapons and that type of way of something trying to cause you. It doesn't matter. If she's not a female that believes in being weak, right, to a creation, being dominated and controlled and evil happening to her because she's deep down a healthy person, a good person, to her that's disgusting when a human or male acted dominant over her. Well, she's ready to kill you. It doesn't matter if she dies in the process. You get me? She's ready to stop you from trying to do evil to her. That's what I mean by strong human. So strong humans always said, hell no. What did you just say to us? Okay? It's not because they had knowledge. They also didn't know what was going on. They also didn't know who God is. Okay? But evil is something God told us in our mind. We have a conscience that just knows right from wrong. Okay? So for that reason, since evil is evil, when you see it, you're going to say no. And that's then when they're going to be like, let's give them the death penalty or whatever. Like that. And even if they were going to be killed, they're not going to change their standpoint because I just told you. It's you basically saying, I'm okay with being dominated by a person. Only evil human would be okay with that. They don't honor themselves. But you honor yourself, right? You would never like evil to be done to you. You're not going to agree even if there's a threat of violence. Do you agree? Okay, it's like someone telling you to kill an innocent child, otherwise they're going to kill you. You're going to be like, kill me. First, I'm going to fight with you. You're not going to kill me. Who you think you are? But, right, if I just die because you have a gun and that's not really a fair battle, well, who cares? But are you going to kill this innocent child? No. So it's about integrity. It's about morality. That Muslims and anyone who practices bad parts of any religion or those who are in cults, those are anything. They just have no morality. They're not good people. Please don't accuse us and act like those people are scared. Please don't insult morality. Oh, I just told you good people died even when they were being slaughtered. And they were still saying, hell no, are we going to do bad to ourselves and others? So please stop using danger as a weapon. That these, weak people are scared of danger or something. Well, these good people also had to deal with danger. The kings could just do whatever they wanted. Other humans, right? Other ethnicities, other countries, they weren't connected. So what this little city, this king is doing, using these males with big weapons, these people didn't have someone to even come and help them. Are you going to accuse those past humans of just agreeing to, prostrating and begging and worshiping a human like themselves because they're scared of dying? Please don't insult the human race. There's good and there's bad. The bad one is weak. So weak and evil go together. Do you get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, don't be evil and don't be weak. Take the good of Islam, leave the bad. God is going to take out the bad. But there's parts that don't seem bad, such as the Qur'an, just talking about making it seem like God is talking. I don't think that's even God's words, because not only does it seem like an extremist, hateful, violent God, okay, but it repeats the same thing over and over and over again, because that's the area the devil took out what God actually did say. So since he's a creation, the devil, he's going to repeat the same thing because he doesn't have anything to put in there. He doesn't have any wisdom. He's not a God. And he intentionally did that. He could have put other stuff in there, right? That's good or whatever. He put the same stuff in it. The verses repeat. It's always talking about hell and disbelievers. And it makes it seem like disbeliever is anyone who doesn't worship God when, you get me? It's insanity. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't talk about anything else basically as much. You get bored with it. You're like, I'm not reading this. That's what I'm saying. It's corruption. So you're not disrespecting God if you're like, I don't like your book. It's not his book anymore. So don't be thinking you're sinning or anything. Just don't obviously cuss it out or anything, right? You don't have to make bad words come out of your mouth. But understand, saying this is filth, this is garbage, that's normal. This book is corrupted. So there are Muslims who go against it. They just cannot be seen. They're not going to be put on broadcast. They're going to hide it from us. We're never going to know there's people who are doing something and said something. They're going to always be outnumbered. Not because there's something wrong with this group of Muslims, right? The people who are in Islam, but because the majority of the human race is evil anyway. Good people are rare. Okay, so it's easy for the bad ones to outnumber us. So in a Muslim country where they're following the Sharia law, which is just man-made laws like cutting someone's hand off if they steal, what kind of nonsense? A God who believes in forgiving you? A God who believes in the biggest sins being the only ones to kill someone, and we could all agree because he gave us that conscience we understand, such as if you kill someone, rape someone, that's it. It's only situations extreme like that. You enslave someone, that's weird. That's high-level evil stuff. We would all be okay with death penalty for such humans. But someone who stole, especially when it's a property, right? A property is not important. A human is important, right? A living being. We don't care if you steal a purse. We can just put you in jail maybe, right? The person might even seek forgiveness and be humble, and they can get a less punishment. Like, goodness, we're human. We're not violent, right? We just are just. We need to punish those who harm others. But other than that, why would someone get their hand, look at my word, hand get cut off and chopped off? Just, what? Aren't there people who are rebellious and go into bad situations? And if humans are wise enough to try to guide you back and give you compassion, and one day those people become great leaders and they stop other children from going down that bad path. Imagine. They're accusing God of not having even that basic decency that humans have, right? Who everyday kids who are stealing, young boys who are in gangs and stuff, they try to guide them back. You know, they haven't killed anyone or anything. They're just bad kids. We all believe in guiding them, right? We all believe in being compassionate to them, but just with them and obviously assertive, right? Guiding them doesn't mean we love them, for what they did. It doesn't mean we're okay. It doesn't mean we're like that sort of happy with them. It just means our compassion means we care about them. We don't want them to get worse. Imagine accusing God of not having that. He just wants to get your hand cut off. That's nonsense. So that's not in the Qur'an, but that's the man-made books. But the Qur'an has weird stuff too. They accuse the Prophet of having 11 females to himself. Okay, but the Qur'an says only 4. That's how you know all this stuff is garbage. Because one way God tries to help us to know something is not from him, just for the sake of argument, if some humans really think God is evil, right? He makes the devil contradict himself. What does a liar do? They contradict themselves, right? So they say something, they forget, obviously, their creation. They might say something different the next day, right? So there's different things about every subject in Islam, whether sexism or some immorality. Every book will say something different. The Qur'an will say something different. They're going to fight. These books will not agree, okay? So that's a way for God to show us whoever's writing it is demonic and evil and not a God. And even that thing is contradicting itself because it's crazy. So just please use your mind. Observe the human race. Observe how compassionate God is. He helps people. He, even redeems prisoners every day who go to prison, right? Many of them, he helps them to change. And when they come out, they didn't do something like murder. They just come out. They did some other stuff, maybe drugs or whatever. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. It's just smaller crimes. And then he helps them to change. And sometimes he uses people in Christianity, the good parts of that religion, to guide them to morality. So God is using that religion, just so you know, okay? Because it's just his religion. It's just his religion is just corrupted. It just has a different name. It just corrupted God's identity, just like Islam, right? Has a bad portion of it that's extremely large in percentage. But we will still say it's his religion, right? Like that. So we can still say, this is his religion. So just leave the bad. Don't look at these contents. Don't observe these Muslims who, when you look at them, they just look backward. Their clothes look ugly and heavy and big. They're large families. These females, even when they're 40 or 50, they just look old. They still having kids. I told you, it has nothing to do with Islam. It's just backwardness that other ethnicities have too. Other races have. It's just a little bit of the Europeans, they sort of stepped out of it. A little bit of the Asians, they stood out of it, right? Okay, but there's parts of Asia and there's parts of, Europeans overall, whether the ones in Europe or the ones in America, that just, some of them are weird, right? They're hiding from us. They have cults. They still follow this weird, creepy stuff with one male, one female. They have so many kids. It's like a cult. All they do is breed like animals. They control each other. Sometimes he might have that nonsense where he said this is his 5 wives or whatever. That's what I'm saying. It's just evil. But once in a while, it attaches itself to a religion, right? Because when it's attaching itself to just humans, everyone's comfortable to be like, well, those are crazy ones. Let's forget about them, right? Okay, but when it attaches itself to God, people freak out. That's why the devil did it. So you would freak out. Okay, so don't freak out. God is good. He's merciful. This is not him. Use your conscience. Use the way he created animals and the way he created nature and humans, where there's always mercy going on. There's always good stuff happening. There's always this sort of greatness, whoever created it is great because everything is standing, right? Why doesn't the earth just crumble? Why doesn't everything just get destroyed randomly? Every day he wakes us up. Every day he makes the sun come out. And there you go. They'll say that to you. The evil ones will be like, we know that. God is obviously big and great. Duh. That doesn't mean he's not the one who said that. Just shut them up. See, it's not logical to be great and wise and intellectual and be evil at the same time. Don't let them corrupt your thinking. Okay? That's what they want you to think. That there could actually be a God, right, in terms of like greatness, and he can still promote wickedness. No, he cannot. One of the best examples that he cannot is people like me. Righteous women like me, who are obviously not evil. The fact that I would obviously either exit this religion, right? Are you saying someone as good as me, that God wants to put me in a hellfire with the devil? No, that's an unjust God. Why would you do that to this good person who worshipped you, who, right? She has a great character. Why would you choose evil, filthy human beings? Choose filthy, evil things that you or God created, right? Why would you choose that over her? You get me? If God had to choose, if he had to make a decision, why would he choose evil over us? Why would he choose humans who are perverted and nasty and sick over righteous people, who are moral and decent, who are very righteous, who are just? If he had a choice, he would choose someone who has my mentality, because it obviously shows righteousness. It obviously shows purity. It obviously shows justness. You get me? Even if he was an evil God, if he had a choice, he would choose good people who don't want to do the evil he is telling them to do. Okay. Because he's seeing strength. He's seeing that we're strong, obviously. And those are weak ones, and they want to harm each other. And they're happy their evil God allowed it. Come on. Even evil humans sometimes admire good people, right? And they changed because of that. Evil kings many times and queens might have changed their laws or repented or stopped what they were doing because someone stood up against them and showed them what true strength looks like, and they humbled themselves. Okay? So if God really was evil, then that would mean he's willing to put someone like me in hell. You would agree that's not God. Why should someone like me? I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I'm just using myself as an example. Why would someone who has morality like me be punished for my righteousness? Why should I be punished because I'm good? Why should I be punished because my mentality is pure and safe for everyone? Come on. Nonsense. I'm the example that he's good because someone like me is out here. Someone like me is showing you clearly he has to be a good God because I think like this. And the devil will be like, what? The evil ones are here, so isn't that an example? He's evil too? No. Because we all know God doesn't like evil. That's why he created hell. So, anyways, just understand it's not really hard. If you seek him, if you question and ask him questions a lot, he'll open your eyes. But just know that this is not new. It has nothing to do with Islam. It's just evil that was always in the human race. The proof that it's not from God is the fact that he always sent people down to stop the humans who are practicing any of this. They just want to lie to you when they die and act like they only brought down a religion. They didn't stop this sexism and perversion and extremist ways. You know, like if you become Muslim, don't dress like the way Muslims dress. That's just Arab culture. Don't wear a qamis, you know, like the males would. They wear that white, long, you know, sort of gown. And some of it is bad because it's like a dress and you're a man. God obviously hates that. He doesn't want you to look like the opposite gender. So don't do that. Just be your ethnicity the way you normally dress. Just be yourself. So if you enter Islam, you're just supposed to be yourself. All you're doing is praying 5 times a day. Like me, for example, I don't do any ritual. I don't do nothing. I just live like a non-Muslim. I'm normal. I just wake up. I just do my general hygiene. I go to work or school or whatever I'm doing. I just walk the earth like a normal person. I just go shopping like a normal person, right? It's just when I'm eating and drinking, I say Bismillah, which means in the name of, you know, God. I'm just opening good things with his name. If I'm entering the bathroom, there's no rules, okay? These things are just things Muslims came up with to help us. Like they come up with prayer to say when you're entering the bathroom because demons are there. Like that. But demons are everywhere anyway, so you get what I'm saying. It's just good things. It's not a force. Having to say something every time you do something. Don't please fall into that. Don't fall into it. It's not a requirement. This is not an extremist religion. That stuff is the corruption. It's your choice to pray when you do something. Do you agree? Okay, it's just good for you, but it's not a requirement. You don't have to feel like you're in some ritual, okay? But you do want to say Bismillah or in the name of God. You can say it in your English term. Bismillah is just Arabic. But obviously we all just sort of follow that, you know? So you can all obviously say in the name of God or in the name of God Almighty and then eat your food. Drink your water because it means that it's going to be blessed now. But non-Muslims don't know that and they drink and eat and God still takes care of them. You get me? So it's not that kind of requirement. It's not something where it's a sin or something's bad. No, it's just better. It's just better. It's sort of weird if you don't do it as a Muslim because it's just one of those things we were told to do, to just practice worshiping God. Well, worshiping him when we say that. Do you agree? We'll glorify him when we're saying, I'm not going to eat. I'm going to say his name and then I'll eat. Right? It's just worship. Don't think it means he's controlling you. That if you actually ate and forgot, he'll beat you up or something. No. Okay? So that extremism, you get me? I don't want you to be that type of thinking style. That's extreme. What else? You're just gonna pray 5 times a day, right? The other thing we repeat a lot is just that Bismillah. Okay, and then praying to God verbally. That's your choice when you want to do that. Obviously, do that regularly because it's worship, but it's not a force. You get me? What else do we do? Nothing. Muslim women would just cover up with just the head, right? Scarf, and then obviously we wear a skirt because we don't really want to wear the pants only because it sort of tight on the the body, you know what I mean. So just the skirt makes it better. But what type of skirt? Just a decent one. Not extreme, not heavy, not weird. Just get away from anything extreme. Just a typical nice skirt. Okay, but as a male, you don't have to worry about that. You just dress your usual way. Don't change your hairstyle. Don't wear that thing over their head that Muslim males wear. That's Arab culture. It's not Islamic. Okay, the Prophet was Arab. Get it? They're just trying to copy him. So that you start to think this religion is weird, like it has a dress code. They are mixing culture with their religion. That's all you would do if you became Muslim today. You just pray 5 times a day. And again, no one knows if this is actually what God wants us to do. Based on the way scholars have come up with things, they just think this is what he meant. Okay? So it's better to do that rather than saying I'm not, because there's no evidence. Because this is one that's about worship. It's not bad. So it's better to do it. When there's doubt, it's better to do it if it's good. When there's doubt and something is bad or evil or it's confusing or strange or extreme, well, you're not going to do it because it's weird. You know? But also because if it's not bad, but if it's maybe unnecessary, it's extra, oh, then you're not going to do it because there's doubt. You know? But you don't want to miss that chance to pray if this was really what God wanted. But it's possible when God sends down the truth. Whoever he's going to use, only he knows, that he will probably tell us we don't have to pray like this. Because it just seems so extra and so extreme. The way we pray is really difficult. You know, you have to memorize and like this. God does not burden us. That's one of the things that at least didn't get corrupted in the Qur'an. He says he doesn't burden us. You know? So that's really all you would do if you're a Muslim. You just pray 5 times a day. Okay, you'd fast in the month of Ramadan. That's just 1 month in the whole 12 months. And obviously you're breaking your fast, you know, when the sun sets. It's not all the time. And then you'd eat before the sun rises, or anytime you want to wake up, like after midnight, you know, like Fajr time before that prayer, which is the first prayer of the day. That's it. And since you're male, you don't have to dress, you know, like, you don't have to do anything with your attire. It's just me who would cover her hair. Just for modesty. Just for things that you don't have, like a breast. That, okay, a female has it. It's kind of indecent to show it. That's kind of it. It doesn't mean God is disrespecting, God is downgrading her or anything. No, you have private parts. He tells you to cover it. It's like that. This is also considered a private part. Don't think too much about this logical stuff. That's just decency. The extremist, the unjust would be if God told her to cover up like a shame, which is what Muslims do. Their clothes is too big. It's unhealthy. It's unnecessary. They don't pick different colors and have fun with fashion because that's the devil, get it? He literally said if she wears red or certain colors, she's going to go to hell. It's that stupidity. God created fabric. He created all these beautiful colors. It's not a sin. So these are one of the things that will come back. Fashion will come back. Knowledge will come back. Women will become scholars. They're going to learn how to fight, okay? They're going to stop having these sort of weak bodies where they just stay home and eat and have kids. They're going to just enjoy exercising like a lot of non-Muslim females do. They're just going to have healthy human qualities that are good for both genders. Males need to learn fashion too and look pretty, and everyone should just enjoy the things that are good. You and I would say beauty and health is good. Makeup is normal. They're going to finally enjoy makeup. Everything, they're being restricted from it by these Arab preachers. Other Muslims don't even say this as much. It's really the ones who are Arab, those Muslims, because they're the people of the Prophet, right? They're his ethnicity. The bad ones are sort of controlling the religion as if they're him or something. So they like to act superior over other Muslims who are from other ethnicities. They'll make you feel so uncomfortable. They treat Muslims and Africans and other ethnicities, usually non-Muslim, they treat them like slaves. They beat them. They accuse them. They put them in jail. You don't want to go to those Middle East countries. Please don't go there. Okay? I'm giving you a warning. There's a lot of evil in this group. There's a lot of obviously evil in their countries. Don't do it. Just follow your religion. Follow your creator. Worship him. Do the normal basic parts of Islam. Forget about the rest. You can read the Qur'an, but you don't have to memorize. You're not going to go to hell. Okay? Just read it like people read the Bible. Just make it a regular habit. The weird parts that don't seem like God is talking, ignore it. Okay? You don't have to memorize it because his book is corrupted. But it's good for your knowledge to read it all, obviously, and see what obviously looks weird and what looks normal. You get me? Just do things always for a good reason, not because you're forcing yourself. Don't burden yourself to learn how to pray so quickly. Don't be extreme with yourself. God just wants you to worship him. He doesn't have rituals. Okay? He just wants you to remember him and pray to him. That's all. Otherwise, you're going to get too distracted with this worldly life. You're going to forget he created you. So other than the 5 daily prayers, other than Muslim women wearing the hijab, Ramadan, right, fasting, The Hajj also, it's possible that that rock, that Muslim circle, it's possible that that's pagan. It's possible that that's actually from the devil. So it's one of those things where that doesn't fit our religion for Muslims to circle it like that. You know, it's very strange. We're the ones who don't like rocks and objects and stuff like that. We don't, you know, because that's like idol worship to us or pagan to us. So there's a lot of stuff that is not in the Quran, but it's in the Hadith. Okay, God might say, the Quran might say do pilgrimage. Okay, but we don't know what he means by pilgrimage. It doesn't explain it. That's what I'm saying. His book is corrupted. It doesn't explain anything. So then, okay, the man-made books, humans wrote it. There's a lot of evil in it. The good ones, we don't know who the real humans were, who were the good or anything, right? We just have names on it. And there's a lot of fabricated ones that Muslims threw out. Okay, but they don't want to throw out the sexist ones, the other creepy, extreme ones, the violent ones, the ones saying to kill a Muslim if they disagree with anything. Oh, you get me? Some evil obviously didn't get thrown out. Just don't waste your time on it. I don't study that stuff. I just have a lot of knowledge already, so that's probably why. But just study for the sake of knowledge, okay? Not to think you have to follow anything, because as long as you're just doing the 5 daily prayers, you worship God, you fast, God is guiding me to the fact that we shouldn't do pilgrimage right now, because of the fact that it's possible many of the things they do is not from him. So if you're too scared of that, then don't do it. He's not going to kill you for that. But of course, you can always do it if you want. He's not going to judge you for things like this that are not evil. You get me? It could just be fabricated into, but you're not hurting anyone. You're not hurting yourself. You go to the Hajj. Okay, so if someone gets misguided into doing it, obviously, right, God is not going to throw them in hell for that. But if someone actually follows harming others and themselves, right, committing injustice against someone, right, like, oh, there's perversion in this religion, well, you're not going to say the book was the problem. You're not going to say the book misguided you. That's about morality, okay? So be balanced. Just worship him. Just keep to yourself. If you find good Muslims, of course, they're human. Just interact with them. Go out, you know, eat food with them. But don't mix with yourself with the average one, because they're the ones who are narcissistic, psychopathic, perverted, harmful. If you ever stayed with them in their home, they're going to try to touch you, okay? I'm not joking with you. I've been Muslim all my life. I know these people. But good actual human beings who happen to be Muslim are very rare. Just like, you know, for example, Christians, the ones who actually follow their Christianity, the ones who are actually moral and decent are very rare. The ones who really follow it, since obviously there's bad stuff in their book, like if you go to the churches, they're very perverted, very psychopathic, very creepy. You get me? So anyone who really follows the religion, right, is obviously going to be an evil person, because there's evil in the book. There's evil in the religion. So it's people who don't follow everything. It's people who just do the good parts, and they're enjoying their life. They're civilized. They're educated. You know what I'm saying? They're living like the good parts of non-Muslims, the people who believe in education, believe in independence, believe in individuality. They don't believe male and female should control each other, or one should submit to the other, one should worship the other, one is above the other when they're married. Just good conduct. We just treat each other with love and respect. We respect each other's individuality or humanity. That's it. Just good people overall, regardless of their religion, how they treat each other. Just find good people like that. It doesn't matter their religion. Surround yourself with good. Leave the bad. God will guide you on the rest. And I'm doing the best I can to share the corruptions as much. And anything you see Muslims do that seems oppressive or weird, like how Muslim women live, that is the corruption. The fact that they can't do anything without a male. They say she cannot get married without a male. Like a brother, father, hell no. So you saying women can't get married if all their brothers die? 2, she's not a child, like a guardian adult who would take her somewhere. God have mercy. Okay, but the Muslims who are good, right? The preachers among them would obviously say, she doesn't need that. She can just come to the mosque. We'll help her. You get me? Like that. So it's the crazy ones who are always getting in your face. But God obviously is the creator. If she doesn't have any male... I'm talking about females who actually believe in that nonsense, okay? Who believe in being controlled by a male like some god. If she believes in that nonsense and she wants to get married, right? God will find her a way. You get me? He'll just find her a mosque that won't bother her with that. She'll have to go to the courts, right? In her country, like usually a non-Muslim, they'll give you goodness, what is it called? The documents, whatever, that prove that you're married. And then you're going to go to the religious sort of part of it. You know, you're going to go to mosque. Okay, you'll find an imam, which they call like a leader of the mosque, or sheikh, which is like a bishop or a preacher. And they're just going to do the ceremony where they're just saying to you what you expect, like a vow. Okay, you take it. They write down your names. They give you paperwork, like proof that you're married. God just created that for the human race, as just for the people to always know these two people are a couple. You agree? There's no way to know. How do people know who you're married to, right? What if they accuse people of being adultery or something like that? Not that God cares about people insulting you, accusing you. Just the idea. It prevents you from evil like that. People knowing that you're married, right? It's obviously good for you. So it's not about controlling you. It's not about these humans, right? If they don't agree that then you can't get married. Marriage is from God. He'll find you a way to be married. I'm just saying, in a world where we obviously all help each other, this is the system humans use. But I've obviously asked God many times, what if there is no, what if a human doesn't want to go through the system? Are you saying we can't just use you to just get married? We can't just talk to each other? I don't know. Okay, it's one of those things that we don't know what God would say. But he's not unjust. He's not going to actually act like a third party is required for you to get married. Like, you know what I mean? Like to limit you or anything. It's one of those things where the way things are now, there's a process, right? At least the third party is used not to control you, but to just be a representative that simply knows you guys are married. Is that simple? It's like you getting your DMV license. Okay, people give you an idea. Well, it's just a process to just have that evidence. Okay, so then there you go, right? You get married. You just find, obviously, there's good Muslim males who can help you. But I told you they're like 0.0 something. They don't exist probably. So the average one, right? God will obviously make them help you. You get me? Humans don't have that kind of control. When you obviously in your rights as a human, God will find you a way. He knows the people who worship him are crazy. So, right? Just you'll find a sheikh or whatever, a mosque that's willing to help you, and okay, you can get married. It's that simple. So don't worry too much about things that haven't happened yet, right? Don't obviously try to plan this stuff if you want to get married or whatever. Just take it day by day. Understand God. Pray to him. Study everything. Pray at night, because that's when it's easy to hear him, because there's no noise and stuff like that. Things are quiet. And he'll guide you to it, okay? Just use your mind. That's the only way you're going to understand what he's guiding you to, which proves what? Logical creator, right? If he needs us to use our mind and not just believe random things. He's not sexist and crazy then, because you cannot use logic to prove and justify evil conduct. You can only tell people to do it, correct? Don't use your mind, just do it. Okay, so if he's logical, if when he tries to guide us, it's not really our heart, it's usually our mind. He just shows us things that then we just know he's communicating with us. We know he's pulling us. He's going to use our mind for everything else, okay? So just know these are the parts of Islam that are corrupted. Many of this stuff, past scholars have already said that. I'm not the only one. It's just that when they die, their works are destroyed. When they speak up, people shut them down. But I don't think recent scholars, right? Recent preachers, that there was ever one that ever went against the perversions and sexism. They just go against other things usually. So they're not moral. Or maybe I just didn't see that part about them. I just see some clips of them. Usually they're Arab, you know what I mean? Because they're the people who obviously brought down knowledge to the rest. Because they're the prophet's people, right? It has to go to them first. You can do that. You can go on YouTube and try to find these Muslim sheikhs. S-H-I-E-K-H or S-H-E-I-K-H, sheikh, you can just try to see past videos, usually early 2000s, what they used to say about Islam and separating it from the government so it doesn't limit people. You're going to see there's always been someone who had a rational mind, who always said, even using parts of the religion to defend their standpoint, the parts that are not corrupted that maybe we don't all see right away. Because we get sensitized to the bad ones. So for that reason, you're going to have faith and you're going to be like, whew, there was some good Muslims who said something. They just outnumbered. They're overpowered by number. The rest are the evil ones. And you might be like, why are they overpowered by number? Because the humans who are already without religion, right, who are not even Muslim, the ones who are already perverted, sexist, and like to follow their cultures that always did that to females, they're the ones, you get me, who are naturally going to then just want to join the religion. You see, they're going to just want to join this religion because there's a religion that obviously allows it now. Of course, other religions, there's a lot of evil in them. They allow it too, like Mormon. It's just that the government will stop them, correct? Because those people separated religion from government, and the decent, good humans are protecting human rights using human laws, right? That just is produced from logic and morality rather than these books. So Muslims didn't reach that yet. You get me? They didn't separate the religion from government. But I promise you that's going to happen soon, because exactly the parts of their religion that they never say anything about is going to start to hurt them directly now. Because before it's just they say it, right? They don't actually do it to each other. But now it's going to start to hurt them. They're going to start killing innocent Muslims more. They're going to start having a lot of war with outsiders like Israel. There's just going to be so much chaos. They're going to just have a lot of Muslims. Just so much stuff is going to happen between Muslims, right? A lot of these humans who pretend to be decent Muslims are going to expose themselves. They're just going to fight, okay? Because their time is up. The devil is not going to like hide them anymore, protect them the way he does. And they're going to start to go against each other. And now those Muslims, right, who are always silent, who didn't know what to do, they just lived quiet lives, usually non-Muslim countries. Now they're going to start to group together and be like, okay, let's do something now. Let's create our own way out of this. You get me? So a lot of sections, right, like a sect, will actually come out of this religion, just so you know, just like any other religion you expect. Because, right, there's corruption. People fight. And there's evil ones who want to keep the filth. The good ones are like, hell no. So they kind of become their own, sect or whatever. So, and very soon then God will send down the truth. So you just remember my words. Take the good, leave the bad. And leave the rest to God to guide you, and know that there's obviously good Muslims who don't follow this filth. The majority are the evil ones that I don't even mix with. They're harmful to me. So it's going to be harm to you too if you want to enter this religion. Just don't mix with them. Okay, take care of yourselves.